Welcome to Spurs Focus, your go-to spot for daily Tottenham news, transfers, and match updates. Don't forget to support the channel by hitting that subscribe button now. Let's dive into today's top story. Tottenham's dream season under Thomas Frank could be heading into its toughest test yet. After cruising into the Carabao Cup fourth round, Spurs have just been handed a brutal fixture pile-up that could make or break their campaign. With Newcastle, Chelsea and Manchester United all looming within days, will Spurs rise to the challenge or crumble under the chaos? Tottenham Hotspur have been given a potential fixture nightmare after confirmation of their Carabao Cup fourth round tie. Spurs booked their place in the round of 16 of the competition after they claimed a victory over Doncaster Rovers in the third round last week. Thomas Frank has enjoyed an impressive start to life as Tottenham manager, with the club fourth in the Premier League table after 6 matches. Saturday night saw Spurs held to a 1-1 draw at home to Wolves as they missed the chance to close the gap on leaders Liverpool. Tottenham are still in all 4 competitions this season and will have ambitions of winning another major trophy. However, part of that success has created a busy fixture list on the horizon for Frank and company. Monday morning saw confirmation that Tottenham's Carabao Cup fourth round tie against Newcastle United will take place on Wednesday, October 29th at St James Park. This fixture falls in between Premier League matches against Everton, October 26th, and Chelsea, November 1st, and will see Spurs have 3 games across 7 days. Tottenham will then have a Champions League clash against FC Copenhagen on November 4th, before hosting Manchester United in the Premier League on November 8th. This run of fixtures means that Spurs will now have 5 matches across 14 days, leading up to the November international break. The draw with Wolves leaves Tottenham 4 points behind leaders Liverpool in the Premier League table. Frank admitted there was an opportunity to capitalise on Liverpool's defeat to Crystal Palace before reflecting on his team's performance. "Yeah, I think if you look before the game versus Wolves, you would say that there was a good chance for us to win," Frank told reporters on Saturday. "So it's never easy. That said, I hoped and believed if we hit a top performance, we would win. We didn't hit a top performance. I think we hit an average performance. But you do that sometimes. So yeah, we got a point on a day when not everything worked, and then we move forward." Grimsby Town versus Brentford, 7:45 p.m. Sky Sports plus Wycombe Wanderers versus Fulham, 7:45 p.m. Sky Sports Plew Wrexham versus Cardiff, 8 p.m. Sky Sports ITV. Tottenham's injury worries deepen as Dominic Solanke's ankle issue drags on, and Kolo Muani is sidelined with a dead leg. With Kulusevski and Maddison still out, Richarlison is set to lead the line. But there's some relief. Ben Davies, Kota Takai and Yves Bissouma are back in training to strengthen the squad. Subs Brennan Johnson tried to up the tempo but didn't offer too much down the right in his time on the pitch. 5. Pedro Porro. Same as Johnson, he didn't particularly add anything more than what had already been there on the right. 5. Pape Matar Sarr, back in the squad, and picked up a crucial late assist in teeing up the ball for Palhinha. 6. Wilson. Odobi. Plenty of running into players rather than doing anything with the ball with his late cameo. N/A Mathys Tell. In contrast, he made the difference with his cut inside and low cross that found Sarr. NA. Speaking about Solanke's setback, new Tottenham head coach Thomas Frank admitted the injury has been tricky to manage. "I think sometimes, let's say you have got a calf sprain or hamstring or even ACL, it is very simple. Very easy to deal with," he said of the ankle problem. "Sometimes it is just a little bit more tricky. So this is a little bit more tricky without being a problem. I expect Dom back as soon as possible." Frustration over Solanke's continued absence has been compounded by the loss of Kolo Muani, who joined the club on loan from Paris Saint-Germain in the summer. Frank confirmed that the France international has a minor injury described as a dead leg, which was enough to keep him out of Monday's session. Kolo Muani has made just 1 appearance for Spurs so far, coming off the bench for the final 13 minutes of the 1-0 win over Villarreal in the opening round of the Champions League group stage. It means Richarlison is expected to continue leading the line for Spurs, who are already without attacking midfielders Dejan Kulusevski and James Maddison due to long-term injuries. Frank was at least boosted by the return to training of veteran defender Ben Davies, while Kota Takai also took part after recovering from a plantar fascia issue. Yves Bissouma was involved too following a recent knee problem. Pep Guardiola has revealed Savinho is close to signing a new contract at Manchester City after a summer where he was heavily linked with a move to Tottenham. Savinho was the subject of strong interest from Tottenham last month, but talk of a £69 million move to North London ultimately came to nothing, and the 21-year-old is now expected to sign a new deal, committing himself to City until 2031. "We were so clear that we want to keep him," Guardiola said after Savinho started in Saturday's 5-1 win over Burnley, days after getting his first goal of the season in the Carabao Cup win over Huddersfield. "It depends on the offer." From Tottenham, maybe the offer was not good enough for the club, I don't know. But of course at his age, last season he played a lot of minutes. He can play on both sides, right and left, has pace that is unbelievable. So in that term, he's really good. Savinho is in line to follow a number of Guardiola's squad in signing fresh terms. Nico O'Reilly was the latest player to sign a new contract on Friday, coming after new deals for Ruben Dias and Rico Lewis in recent weeks. It's happened with Rico, Nico. Savinho is close, and in the past, Ruben has done it as well, Guardiola said. So we'll try to be sure to show a player that we want him. Do the effort that we need to stay a bit longer. So I'm really pleased. Nico is growing a lot. I think since he started to play, we lost just one game, the final FA Cup against Palace. When he's not been involved, it was defeats all the time. So Nico helped us a lot, improved a lot in his aggressivity and set pieces, and with the ball. We're really pleased that Tottenham grabbed a 1-1 draw in the dying seconds of their match against Wolves on Saturday evening in the Premier League. And here are our Spurs player ratings. Spurs were looking to follow up victories against West Ham, Villarreal and Doncaster Rovers, and that comeback draw at Brighton with another positive display against the Premier League's bottom side. A victory against Vitor Pereira's men would have meant second place in the table and just 2 points behind Liverpool after 6 matches. Tottenham struck the crossbar 15 minutes in when Mohamed Kudus's header from Xavi Simon's cross was tipped onto the woodwork by Wolves goalkeeper Sam Johnstone. Spurs created plenty of opportunities in the first half to take the lead, but it was the visitors who took the lead in the 54th minute. Guglielmo Vicario saved a Ladislav Krejci header from a corner, but the ball struck Joao Palhinha and bounced back to Santiago Bueno to poke home. It looked like Dr. Tottenham had ended Wolves' run of defeats only for Palhinha to curl home a last-gasp leveller. Good play from substitute Mathys Tel on the left saw him curl the ball into the box, where Pape Matar Sarr knocked it back to the Portuguese to fire home a beauty. Here are our Spurs player ratings. Guglielmo Vicario. Unfortunate to see his save from Krejci hit Palhinha and bounce back to Bueno to score. Made a couple of saves otherwise. 6 Jed Spence on the right and just didn't really find his rhythm there. His delivery wasn't great. 6 Christian Romero battled away to the end, putting his body on the line with some last-gasp challenges. 7 Van der Ven made an excellent early sliding tackle and mopped up a lot at the back as Wolves had very few chances. 7 Destiny Udogie made a great interception and break that should have resulted in a better shot from Bergvall. Midway through the first half, got into some great areas but didn't find the right ball at the right time. His second half did not match a bright first half at all though. 6 Lucas Bergvall was Spurs' best player in the first half but fluffed a volley inside the Wolves box 22 minutes in. Would have had a great assist with a back heel for the offside Kudus in the first half. Sent an acrobatic effort over the bar before the break. Struggled with the rest of the team in the second half, but still came out of the game with more credit than most. 7 Joao Palhinha had a penalty shout in the first half and was unfortunate to see Vicario's save hit him and bounce to Bueno to score. Popped up though with his 3rd goal of the season to level matters, and it was a curling beauty of a finish. 8 Rodrigo Bentancur. A busy game without particularly impressing, other than covering for Romero's forays forward on a couple of occasions. 5 Mohamed Kudus saw a header tipped onto the crossbar 15 minutes in when he probably should have scored. Had a lovely curling effort ruled out for offside. A performance with threat rather than end product. 6 Richarlison offered pretty much nothing up front, although he would say he barely got any service. 4. Xavi Simons started shakily, but whipped in a good cross that resulted in a Kudus header tipped onto the woodwork. Had little moments but never really got going, even when he moved into the middle in the second half. 4. Subs Brennan Johnson. Tried to up the tempo but didn't offer too much down the right in his time on the pitch. 5. Pedro Porro. Same as Johnson, he didn't particularly add anything more than what had already been there on the right. 5. Pape Matar. Sarr back in the squad, and picked up a crucial late assist in teeing up the ball for Palhinha. 6. Wilson. Adobe plenty of running into players rather than doing anything with the ball with his late cameo. N/A Mathis Tell. In contrast, he made the difference with his cut inside and low cross that found Sarr. N.A.